Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and this is Heart of the Elders Part 1. The intro works better when we aren't spawning at the very bottom of the map. And you'll notice that I've already mulliganed. Why is that? Well, you see, in Heart of the Elders Part 1, you can just resign whenever you want from the first location. And when you go over to the resolution, you'll see that if we all resigned, nothing changes and you replay this scenario. The return you set has not fixed this at all. Nothing changes. So, what I figured I would do is, before I wasted your time doing it in a video, just do it during setup, is I just restarted the scenario until I got good mulligans. It turns out I didn't ever restart the scenario. These were my first mulligans. I put these skills back, and I have Dream Diary, Cryptic Research, Red Gloved Man are already fully online. There's stuff in this hand. Mr. Rook is some of it. That's all that matters. And to be wholly honest, that's more than good enough for me. I'm ready to play the scenario. Mr. Rook is the only card that matters. Maybe you could start with Mr. Rook, 2 copies of Segment of Onyx, and 2 Astounding Revelations, and I would still think that was an above average hand because he is so important. Coming over to the deck upgrades, you can see that on Amanda, I've got a little -2 here. Because she basically skipped every turn she ever had in the previous scenario, she wasn't able to get rid of her weakness, and as such got 2 less experience than she normally would have. I spent her 7 experience on Red Gloved Man and spent the remaining 2 on Perception. I'm not a fan of the Perception upgrade, and normally I would hold that experience and try to get another Red Gloved Man faster. However, we're going to be playing Hearts of the Elders Part 1, followed by Heart of the Elders Part 2, back to back without upgrading our decks. And then we're going to get 14 experience going into City of Archives, where Perception upgraded is actually one of the most important upgrades in the game. So this is what I'm going with for now. It's just the most experience I can spend going into 2 back-to-back scenarios. Over here for Mandy, Cryptic Research is an upgrade to Deep Knowledge. I know it looks like they have different names, but it goes from 0 cost, not fast, put 2 curse tokens in the bag, to fast, don't put curse tokens in the bag. This is just a direct upgrade, and Mandy tends to never really have time to play out those deep knowledges once she gets going. It's also especially relevant to doing Ancient Stall nonsense, where now I can use the draw without provoking attacks and opportunity because Deep Knowledge takes an action, whereas Cryptic Research doesn't, and it gives me a lot more burst damage without exposing myself to attacks and opportunity. Coming over to the interludes, we spent a gas, we mapped out the way forward, we spent the 2 rations, no one was poisoned, we don't have a canteen, so we don't know what's happening in the soul, no ill effects, and we don't have Michitaka's coldness in the bag, so we don't get this. When you get these options, it's just to have one of them start in play. We went with Entry of 4, we start with the Expedition Journal in play, and then we're on to setup, which I have already done. We have an Explore deck. We're using the standard Explore rules. After we succeed, we shuffle an encounter card in. We start down here, and our acts and agendas are as follows. We have Agenda 1A, the jungle's hurt. You're deep in the jungle now, surrounded on all sides with the uncharted wilderness. All around you, the rainforest sings, its lyrics found in every chirping insect, every snapping tree branch, every serpent's hiss. It's a 5 doom threshold, there's 1 agenda beneath it. It has an Explore action to, explore, same rules it always says. Coming over to Act 1A, a familiar pattern. 6 stone pillars surround the entrance to the cavern. Each card with a series of uncanny grooves and hieroglyphs that form an intricate pattern. Touching them causes the grooves to glow brightly, and twisting them causes the patterns to shift and change. Perhaps these patterns match the glyphs found in other regions of the rainforest. And once we have 4 clues, we have to immediately advance, and spoilers, by the way, it's going to be a big fuck-off snake on the other side of that card. When you come into the scenario, you get one of these 3 locations at random, I believe, that will spawn in, and then the rest of this map is always here. It's just the reverse of what happened the previous time. And the victory layout is the same, except for this location on the top is not your starting location, it's worth victory 1 now. This is, Untamed Wilds Part 2. And it feels wrong to start now because I've already done my mulligans, but yeah, that's it, we're ready to go. So let's start. I'm going to first action, Dream Diary, second action, Cryptic Research. Let's get our draw buttons in here. I'll gladly take 3 more resources. I'll spend 2 of them playing this Lab Assistant. Okay, things are just stupid over here. I'll play another Lab Assistant. How many cards did I draw? I drew fucking 10 cards in my first turn as Amanda. I forgot to do the Amanda thing. It should have been something from the start. I'm just going to have Throne the Relic Ages under me. I was never planning on getting these clues quickly, because I don't want to spawn this thing for as long as possible. I kind of want to fully explore the map before I have to deal with that shit. So I'm upset that I forgot to do it, but it's ultimately not a big deal. Dream Enhancing Serum will be being played next turn for sure. Over here for Mandy, let's go ahead and play our Mr. Rook. And are we going to get the immediate punish today? It has to happen eventually, right? Not today, though. Cryptic Research, Occult Lexicon, and 2 resources. I'm going to play the Occult Lexicon next, because when I play this Cryptic Research, being able to draw these blood rights is nothing but good. So let's see if we draw those blood rights. We don't, but we're getting perilously close to a bunch of other broken shit. Last action, I'll play out the Ancient Stones, get my 7 charges on it. And that's it for our turn 1, and a turn 1 it was. Dream Enhancing Serum the second isn't so important, and Cryptic Research is pretty good. Getting through 3 of 4 and drawing the last one in the first turn is pretty alright. That might be wildly above standard variance. I'm currently testing 5 to 3, so I just take the test. There shouldn't be curses in this bag. No one played anything to put curses in the bag. Squid, -3. Unfortunately, that is just enough to fail by 1, so I'll take 1 horror from the squid and 1 damage from the card itself. Over here, the boss has shown up. He's not gonna have a good time. Oh, this poor schmuck. Right, I go first on Mandy. I tap the Mr. Rook. I don't recall if I shuffled my deck or not. I'm pretty sure I did. I think I actually shuffled it twice. Well, Mr. Rook doesn't always get heal off. I would have used my ability there. Ants. But I don't want to deal with ants. I forgot to do the Amanda thing. This has to go away. We have to draw a card. That's not the card you ever want to see. I would not be expecting to do anything relevant this turn, I don't think. I'd be expecting to move forwards, play a Dream Enhancing Serum, and maybe Veda. I don't know what I would be doing, but it wouldn't be an important turn. I wouldn't be exploring very much. I wouldn't be finding that many clues. I'll just throw Dream Enhancing Serum away and put it under me, I think. And then we draw the Essence of the Dream. We don't draw the Essence of the Dream yet, though, because our turn hasn't started, which is important for ants. I'm going to commit Promise of Power to this. We might not have to. I play Practice Makes Perfect on Mandy. Let's make sure I shuffle my deck after that failure. We hit Practice Makes Perfect, or I mix up Practice Makes Perfect and Promise of Power almost as often as Amanda and Mandy. Anyway, we do get 2 resources and Promise of Power. That puts us at 7 to 4. 7 to 4 is good enough. There's no -4 to beat, so we just take that. Skull, -3, easy game, get it out. I should probably read what the Apex Strangleweed actually does. It's a 3/6/3 enemy, it's Alert, Retaliate. Enforced after it makes an attack opportunity. Glad I just upgraded out of Deep Knowledge. Check your supplies. I've got a pocket knife, so it wouldn't matter anyway. It looks like we're just killing this one with draws, actually. Oh, speaking of, did I discard a Promise Power just now? I did. This Promise Power goes to my hand. I got it with Practice Makes Perfect. I spend a charge, deal a damage. Does it say add your hand or just do it? Actually, unfortunately, I don't think Practice Makes Perfect works with Ancient Stone, unlike Mr. Rook, because it says when you draw any number of cards and Practice Makes Perfect adds it to your hand. So that one doesn't work. I'll take my charge back. Mr. Rook, however, does say to draw it. It does not say to add it to your hand. Alright, let's see where this is going. I start by playing Cryptic Research. I remove 1, 2, 3 of these, and deal 3 damage to this thing. I can just Bloodwrite for 2 twice and kill it. That's where we're at. I Bloodwrite for 2, shuffle it in, spend 2 charges. Bloodwrite for 2, shuffle it in, spend 2 charges. So we go down all the way to 1 charge. We spent pretty much an entire Ancient Stone on this victory enemy, but that seems fine to me. He's done. Unfortunately, we're in a bit of an awkward spot where we're going to be discarding cards, so I might want to just discard things for the resources anyway. Astounding Revelation can obviously go. We're currently down to 11. We want to discard 1 more card, so I'll toss this Perception. And then, as my last action, I spend 3 resources and play Dream Enhancing Serum to get my hand size fixed. Over here for Amanda, my first action will be much the same. I'm playing Dream Enhancing Serum to just have unlimited card draw and hand size. I could shortcut to just move faster through the scenario, but I really don't think we want to do that. I think we want to hold this to get away from Vengeance enemies, because that will be relevant at some point. I'm going to Deep Knowledge myself, draw 3 cards. Because I do need to get to a point where I find, Crack the Cases and the like, so that I can generate income for us. I want to get this location once we have at least 2 Crack the Cases. Anyway, second Promise of Power, not gain a resource, draw a card. There's the Crack the Case I'm talking about. I'm going to move up to the next location. I'm actually not even sure what the best last action is. It's probably just draw a card looking for more Crack the Case. Okay. I meant like in a couple of turns I would get more Crack the Case, but sure, that puts us substantially ahead of schedule. No enemies, upkeep phase. Second Prophesy. What's the order on this? Cards ready before we draw, so I tap Dream Enhancing Serum and get another one. Over here. Not our second shortcut, so we don't get to use Dream Enhancing Serum. 2 of 5 Doom and Evil cards. This is the part where I get really sad about Doom of Steel going so badly and us not getting the Serpent, or the Mysterious Scepter rather, to deal with the Feathered Serpent. Anyway, for Mandy's Evil card, we get the other big snake that's a problem with this scenario. Start of the investigation phase, we have to do the Amanda thing, something goes under us. I think I'm going second on Amanda, and I'm probably using Crack the Case to get 1,000,000 resources after I evade this enemy. This should have already been in my hand last turn, I just forgot to add it. Would that have put me above hand size? It would not have. And I think we're just putting Essence of the Dream under us. Just having 4 question marks makes evading this guy a lot easier. Over here for Mandy, we don't want to kill this guy. There is a way to get him out of the Vengeance display, though, if we do have to kill him, but I don't even have the resources for that. He's not elite, though, so he's actually not a problem. I just need the resources to do it. Now, this is the point where I regret not shortcutting Mandy forward, because I could easily fix that. I've already hit all 3 Astounding Revelations. And there's only 1 Promise of Power left in the deck, so these draw cards, or these scry cards rather, don't seem that helpful for dealing with the Basilisk. I do think I display Practice Makes Perfect. I use Mandy's ability and I search 12. As long as it's not in the bottom 2, I hit Promise of Power. I can use Mr. Rook first, just to make it bottom 1. And we can pull almost certainly something relevant. I'll break my leg as well, I guess. So now it's guaranteed to work when I play the Practice Makes Perfect, actually, because I broke my leg. I think I take the... I think I take the Crack the Case for Economy in a hot second. Next, I evade the enemy. I play Practice Makes Perfect. I search 12 instead of 9. This is one of the very rare circumstances where that happens. To guarantee I pull this Promise of Power. That puts me at only 7-4, so I think I have to use the other Promise of Power as well, even though I really don't want to. I'm not happy about it, but I'll live. I play the other Promise of Power as well. And we evade at +7. 1 comes to hand, 1 goes away, this man's evaded. Next action, Mandy's going to move up away from the Basilisk. That'll be our 1 broke leg movement this turn. Shouldn't Expedition Journal be in play somewhere? What happened to that? And it's very important right now because I want to investigate. I want to commit Perception and Deduction, bringing me up to 8-5. Do I have Perceptions over here? I'll commit this Perception as well to go up to 11-5. -2, I draw a card with the Perception. Amanda draws 2 cards with her Perception. I get both clues because of the Deduction. And then, using the Expedition Journal, I take my free action Explore. I believe I need 4 clues to advance, right? Yes, good. So I'm looking for Heart or Moon right now. There's Heart immediately, which pulls Mandy up here as her last free action. I have to look up Leg Injury Explore, because exploring isn't technically a move action in my eyes. There are lots of other results for Explore. If you can't move with an Explore action because of leg injury, my understanding would be that I just get left here. I'm actually very unsure how this interacts now, because I've never considered this possibility. I'm actually going to go post on the subreddit right now and pause recording while I try to figure out where the hell Mandy is and what a broken leg entails. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes, I still haven't gotten an answer, so I'm going to make my own ruling and go forward. There are 2 ways you can look at this situation. The first is that pretty much always the case is you're allowed to make a decision or do a thing as long as it at least partially changes the game state. By that reasoning, I should be able to explore and it reveals this location, but I don't get moved to it because of leg injury. The other argument is that in like every encounter card in this entire campaign, if it prevents you from moving, it also prevents you from exploring, and they are clearly meant to be tied. thematically, what would it even mean to reveal the circuitous trail without getting there? I haven't explored, I physically couldn't have. Luckily, this doesn't impact my planning. It's just I'm going to have to spend my legendary movement as not a movement. I have to shortcut up and replace that movement with this, and then I can explore with the Expedition Journal. So it costs me a shortcut to play it in what I view as the correct way. It's possible that there's like clarification and I'm allowed to do it this way and then shortcut myself up and it all works out the same way. In the end, it's not actually important how it's ruled, I guess. I don't want to put Promise of Power towards this. I might just use Unrelenting and steal bad tokens. That seems reasonable. I'm going to seal -5, -3 Curse. Whoops, not autofail. I'm going to seal -3, -5, and Curse, and that should make our odds good enough with this evade check. Yeah, easy. He's evaded. He is Hunter, and is he Alert or Retaliate? He's Alert Hunter now, which is very inconvenient, but I'll live. We actually don't want to get these clues yet. Also, I got so distracted by those rules that I didn't shuffle in a new encounter card. Very glad I remembered that. I'm going to shortcut up, I think, even though it's not necessarily needed for me to shortcut, so that if I draw something bad in the encounter deck, I can deal with it. That's actually not true. If I draw an enemy from the encounter deck, I can't deal with it. We'll be here next turn, too. Amanda does have the Compass, so she can use his ability, but there's not enough encounter cards in the deck right now to really justify it, I feel. I'm just going to move up and explore. If I get the 1 and whatever number for the encounter card, that sucks, but it's fine. I'm looking for... That is a valid target, actually. I'm sure there are prettier ways to show that on the map, but this is what we're going with. For some reason, we're not getting clues on that one. Again, not really sure why. And the 2 locations we discovered, because I don't think I read this one either, are 2 Shroud, 2 Clues. As additional calls to investigate here, if you don't have a compass, you must spend 3 resources, but Amanda will be getting that on her way out. The waterfall here is completely irrelevant to me. I won't be doing this. I'm just going to say that now. We don't care about the waterfall or this location, because this row doesn't have victory. Anyway, that's it for us. Upkeep phase, the enemy's ready. Whispers from the Deep gets drawn to hand, and another Blood Rite is great. Top of the round, 3 of 5 Doom and Evil cards. Ants, glad I have Drain Enhancing Serum in play already. That puts us at 6-4. I really want to see more than that. I'm going to get Promise of Power and my Weakness to go up 3 to be 9-4. That seems pretty good. Cool. I forgot to add a Curse token to the bag. As always, if I pull something like 0 and forget to add a Curse, I just don't reroll, because it only ever helps me to reroll in that circumstance. And it just feels like cheating to me. Anyway, that's pass. Getting Ants there is really good. It's uniquely well suited to dealing with it, and also lets us get rid of our weakness. That's fantastic, actually. Both of those really suck. As it turns out, losing 2 actions when we're being chased by enemies isn't great, and shuffling a card into the exploration deck also isn't great. And the big problem is that right now we haven't explored a way. We need to start going left and away from all this. I believe Amanda can do that. I'm going to lose 2 actions on Mandy and believe in Amanda. Hopefully I don't get punished for that belief. Right now there are 2 connections to Amanda's location and 2 encounter cards in the deck, so it's a 50-50 to see if she can explore successfully. But before we get into that, let's do our Amanda thing. There's actually a very real chance what we do is we try to get Mandy to have... I want to say it's 1 player's clues to add a resource to this, right? It's not on this one, damn. I think I just need 4 clues back at the camp to win. In which case, Mandy can just get all the clues, teleport out, and end the scenario. Because you just progress, I think, when you do that. I don't think you all need to get back to the start. I'm putting Veda Whitsley under Mandy, or Amanda, rather. That way, if I need to evade stuff because I hit an enemy here, I'll be okay. I'm just going to bulldoze through these as well. I'm not happy if I get exactly treachery, this location. That's a problem for me. But even then, that's not unmanageable. So we're looking for green diamond, circle, or treachery. Rough. That's in there. I don't have an alternative. I have to shuffle something else in and try again. Green diamond, circle, or treachery. Treachery. I'm looking at Voice of the Jungle. That doesn't impede me at all. I'm exploring again. Green diamond, circle, or treachery. Got circle. You tried. So this is the exact situation I said I wouldn't be a fan of. Is I got treachery into the location not connected to Mandy. I pulled a treachery out of a 6-card deck and a location, so we should be at a 5-card deck. I forgot to shuffle something in. And since I only got one treachery out effectively because that other one added itself back in, then replaced it, there are currently 3 locations and 2 encounter cards in the deck. And from Mandy's location, that's actually 1 to 2 odds. And there are several different encounter cards that are serious problems. Worst case scenario, I can just gain a resource and Pendant of the Queen to Amanda's location if things go really bad. Let's take our free explore action as Mandy and see if we can just get lucky or pull something relatively inconsequential out. I'm looking for explicitly green diamond here. This is what I was trying to avoid. Hey, good news. That is exactly what I want to see. I'm not quite sure why none of these work on this map. And that leaves me with an action. I think it's going to be gain a resource, play Pendant of the Queen, evade the Feathered Serpent. That seems right to me. I do that. I gain a resource, spend all of them, and summon Pendant of the Queen. And then I immediately use one of Pendant of the Queen's charges to evade this Feathered Serpent. That's it for us. Enemy phase, the Basilisk hunts. Upkeep phase, the Feathered Serpent readies. No, these 16 cards are not over hand size. No, never. Why would that be the case? 4 or 5 Doom. I'm not sure anything bad happens with this one advances. Alright, that's sort of bad. I do need to deal with that. And also, I need to deal with that. This one's easier, though. I can just Pendant of the Queen him. I might commit 3 deductions to this check so that Amanda gets all 4 clues at once and Mandy can keep her 2 clues. That actually sounds like a reasonable thing to do. Before I get ahead of myself, we need to not take the Mythos phase, we just did that, but do the Amanda thing. Draw a card, see what's under us. It's probably Promise of Power. We get this at the end of the phase. We might be playing Red Glove Man today, actually. Just evade this man this turn. I need to stop putting this in my hand. It's not in my hand until my turn starts, and that very frequently is not Amanda going first. Red Glove Man probably gets played to evade this man and let Mandy kill him next turn. We're at 4. This is as good as Prophesy is going to get this scenario, probably. I'll throw Prophesy under me. So Mandy needs to evade the snake with Pendant of the Queen, move up, investigate, with like 3 deductions and an enraptured and then auto-fail the check, and then we can make a new plan, right? That's where we're at? That sounds right. I'm not happy about it when I put it that way, but it sounds right. Okay. I evade the snake by just using Pendant of the Queen, because it's a very, very fair card with absolutely no balance issues lingering whatsoever. I have no way other than real movement to walk up, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I do need to stay here and kill the Apex Strangle Vine instead anyway. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to commit enraptured, deduction, deduction, deduction to get all 4 clues in one go. That pushes my 5 book up to 9, which doesn't beat 4 by as much as I would like it to. Is there anything left in my deck to practice makes perfect? I've seen both perceptions. There's an Unrelenting in there. Hitting the Unrelenting wouldn't be a bad thing. There's not a Promise of Power, unfortunately, or a Prophesy. But I will take the Unrelenting, I guess. Oh wait, we haven't used Mandy's ability. Is there even another hit, though? I don't think so. Did I forget to crack the case here a while ago? We were supposed to, like, play 2 copies of Crack the Case and gain 10 resources, and I can't help but notice that we're broke right now. Definitely just forgot to play Crack the Case at some point, because I got tied up in all the enemies. That's 100% what happens. Whoops. It's fine. We'll still get a lot of money in this location. I'll use Mandy's ability. I don't think there's a second target in my deck, but it's not hitting anything else anyway. Yeah, that's what I thought happens. We get Unrelenting. That brings us up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 4. We can steal bad things and get better odds, or good things and draw. I'm going to steal good things and draw, and commit Perception to make up for it. Bringing us to a total of 12 to 4. Let's hit that auto-fail. Easy game. I put a charge on Pendant of the Queen, or a Pendant of the Queen on Pendant of the Queen, whatever. I get all of the clues from these deductions. These tokens get released. I draw the Unrelenting. I draw a card from Perception. Mandy will just take all of these clues and then spend them instantly to progress the act, which, oh no, it was a snake. The Winged Serpent's a 4/4 enemy. He spawns at the mouth. He's a hunter, massive, cannot be defeated, can't make attacks. If you deal 5 damage to him or place down a pillar, you heal all damage from him, but exhaust him and he won't ready immediately. We're not really worried about in this scenario. Our new act gives us the ability to place 2 clues on the mouth as a group to solve a piece of the puzzle. It's an action. And that gives us a pillar token. We need to do that twice, so we need 4 clues to finish the scenario. We're going to be trying to get all victory, though, so it might take us a little bit longer than that. These guys probably never catch up to us. It's very important that I remember to do this time. I crack the case 3 times. I make 12 resources. I can immediately see 3 very important resources on Amanda, so I'm going to spend that. I'm going to give her 2 more. I'm going to give the other 9 to Mandy. Because Mandy's on murder duty, she's going to need the money. I'm going to get started on killing this Apex Strangleweed now. I play Blood Right for 2, draw 2 cards, shuffle it in. Do I want to draw more than that, actually? Well, I already chose my decision, so I don't get to change my mind. I spend 1 resource, discard 1 card, and spend 1 there. To deal 2 damage to the Apex Strangleweed. We'll get working on finishing it off next turn. And my ruling previously is that I don't think I'm allowed to explore. I would like to. Even fishing for encounter cards isn't that bad, but oh well. For Amanda's turn, this could be our Red Gloves Man turn. We're already evading at 5-3, though. I'm going to play Unrelenting, because this just says during a skill test. I'm going to seal... Do I have a Promise Power in there? In my discard pile, I mean? I do, good. I'm going to seal the good tokens. Draw 2 cards. That deals a horror to me. I put it on my lab assistant. And now I play Practice Makes Perfect to search for something in my new deck. And I missed Promise Power I won, unfortunately, but I'll take the other Unrelenting and use this one to seal the bad tokens and thereby maximize my chance of hitting auto fail. What the fuck number is this at? Oh, I can't do math like this. This should be in my hand. I commit it. We're at 2, 4, 5, 6, 10-3. And there's stuff in the bag. Okay, cool. This goes aside. Release these. 1 of them discards. 1 was from Practice Makes Perfect. You're evaded. I just realized that Mandy's bottom 7 includes like Archive of Conduits, Mr. Rook, and the second Ancient Soul. There's some good stuff down there. Anyway, that was Amanda's first action. And next action, I think I'm exploring. We need to head left and wrap up these 2 locations. This triangle will have victory on it that we care about. So let's just hope the explorers don't go too horrifically badly. You don't pull a token for that, Nick. What am I doing? Okay, we're looking for specifically red square or an encounter card. I got bit by a snake. This is what you get for not playing the Red Gloves Man. We're currently at 4-3. Promise of Power puts it 8-3, which is up 5, and I think that's like the best we can reasonably do. If we get poisoned, it's honestly not the biggest deal because we do have medicine, and this is one of our last chances to get poisoned. But I would still very much like to not be poisoned. It would just be neat to have a Forgotten Age campaign where literally no one ever got poisoned. And now, having seen that snake, I think perhaps instead of doing my original plan, I'm just going to play the Occult Lexicon. Because there's a very high chance of things looking a little bit shit if I don't play the Occult Lexicon. Which means I will be taking 1 horror. Oh no. That's it for us. Enemy phase, they hunt. There's only 1 correct path here, which coincidentally is also the path I wanted them to take. This man readies, this man readies. And we ready our stuff as well. There's the Mr. Rook I was talking about. Yeah, no, this is underhand size, don't worry about it. It's just ridiculous looking at this Amanda's hand. This advances. Shuffle the encounter discard pile in. Whoever has binoculars is the lookout, and nothing bad happens. I believe that's Mandy. That is Mandy. If there was no lookouts, or no binoculars rather, they would just get an enemy with us. It would still be annoying, but not a big deal. It would be really funny though if like, you got a Pit Viper instead of something impressive. Because it's supposed to be like, oh, you weren't paying attention, the basilisk or the feathered serpent sneaks up on you. But if it's just like a normal snake, it feels really funny. Anyway, let's wrap up the Mythos phase. I don't know why this is movable. I really wish it wasn't. You know what you can do about that? There's this feature called a lock. It's not movable anymore. Anyway. Oh, fuck off. Not really a solution to that one. Anyway, let's ants again. I really need to start remembering the Stream Enhancing Serum exists and drawing cards when I hit double Blood Right like this. It's kind of important. I feel like if I just did it retroactively, no one would be mad at me, but I'd be mad at me. I'm not going to learn unless I start punishing myself for mistakes. I'm going to throw Mandy that Prophesy for 2, and I can fail by 2 and be fine. So testing 5-4 doesn't seem that bad. Because I can just lose Ancient Stone, Dream Enhancing, even the Expedition Journal isn't that big of a deal. Even the Mr. Rook isn't. So yeah, I'll just be up. I could have just like done nothing and been fine, I guess. Cool. This is just going in the Vengeance display. There's nothing to be done about it. I wish there was. But moving down and evading this snake is just so action efficient with these enemies coming up on us. Oh, this man also should have hunted. He's right behind him. I can go first on Amanda. We're down to a small enough deck that I can use the compass and know it'll result in what I want to happen. Rather than doing that correctly, I'm just going to spend 2 actions and save us some time. There are only 3 cards. I pick the one that I want. The one that I want is red square. I shouldn't have opened that because now I can see what the other ones were. I guess I'd have drawn through them to find it anyway, though, so it's the same thing. In fact, this only hurts me because I saw the cards and looked away, and I should have known what they were. Anyway, we now have this. Amanda's down here. That's 2 actions. And I put this in the victory display, unfortunately. And I think I'm just going to use the map again so that we know for a fact that Amanda's exploration, or Mandy's rather, will hit the correct location that we want. We have to do the stupid card thing. Can't just skip that. It's kind of important. Anyway, as I've already committed very first thing without doing anything else to just doing this explore path, I'm throwing away a magnifying glass. I'm going to look at these 3 and put them down in the order I want them. It's Serpent's Haven on top, Pitfall, and Snakebite are the rest of them. That is what this one does, right? I'm not going crazy and just using the wrong effect. Yeah, we're good. I will not be taking any horror this turn because I've done it correctly. And once Mandy gets the last victory point over here, we're going to be good to leave. I guess technically Amanda or Mandy needs to get Circuitous Trail as well. I've missed that one, unfortunately. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. We need to play some Blood Rights. I'm playing one of them for 3. I think the other one's still in my deck, right? Yeah. I'll play 1 for 3. Yeah, it doesn't matter which one I play for 3. We're good. I tossed the Jeremiah Kirby. And I have to toss 1 more than that, unfortunately. Milan's not happening. We can accept this. I'm going to play another Blood Right. I'm going to draw for 3. I could shuffle it in. And I want to, but it's not correct. I discard this Crack the Case and this Archive of Conduits, unfortunately, to kill the Apex Strangleweed. I walk to Amanda's location because I have to not get caught. And I use a charge, a Pendant of the Queen, to take this clue. Let me quickly double check it's for investigating and not just finding clues. Yep. Anyway, that's it for Mandy's turn. Blood right, move. That's all she's got. Enemy phase, they're going to hunt. There's only 1 correct path for this guy, and for these guys I can go up or down. It's better to go up. That's it for the enemy phase, upkeep phase. We're going to take a horror on Mr. Rook. Oh no. That's a pretty good draw from the top of my deck, I'll admit. Top of the round, 1 of 5 Doom, and evil cards. Pitfall's actually really soft. I was initially upset that I was probably taking 3 damage, but then I looked at my hit points and stopped caring. That's fine, I'll take 3 damage. It's actually not even, slightly an issue. Over here, again, I'm not happy about it, but I can just take 3 damage. And I guess a horror as well. I'll put 1 of it. Actually, I'll put the full thing on Mr. Rook and kill him because he is out of uses. That's your job, it's to die for the cause. Our Explore deck is already rigged so that when we walk down, we know we're going to get what we want, or when we explore as a free action on Mandy, rather. If you look at the connections, we can see that nobody's going to be connected to where we're going. I need to get an Enraptured use off so that I can actually... I think it's actually really important that I go first on Amanda. That way she'll be down here to commit skills to Mandy's test. Because I need this Enraptured to go off to finish the game the way I want it to. We're actually pretty vulnerable to an autofail right now. So I'm going to go first on Amanda after all. Let's do the Amanda thing. Nothing under me matters, but Unrelenting could. All that matters is autofail, probably. So I might just Deep Knowledge Mandy twice. We got 4 curses in the bag. I don't want to go up to 8 curses. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explore. It's going to reveal the last location. Amanda's going to pop down. We shuffle a card into the now irrelevant Explore deck. This one is not going to have any additional penalties for us. We're not poisoned. There are no enemies here, but it is 2 Shroud for a clue. I shortcut back to the previous location and then shortcut Mandy in, and then I walk back. So Mandy's down here. I've spent 2 shortcuts. I've got 2 deductions, which is very nice. I think it's correct to Deep Knowledge Mandy, just barely. So I'll do that with my last action. I'll give her 3 cards. Looking for things like Practice Makes Perfect, Enraptured, and now for Mandy's turn, we crush the Shroud value pretty easily. I think we just like minimize our chance of losing to auto-fail nonsense and do 1 deduction at a time. Also, this should have been in the hand of Amanda. So I'm going to keep Enraptured, Deduction, Essence of the Dream. That's 4, 5, 6, 11 to 2. Squid's not a problem. Put a charge here, use it immediately to take this clue from this location. And then this deduction's going to give me 2 clues. It feels bad, like, never having the time to play Milan. He's just... Oh, he got discarded at this point, actually. Poor guy. Anyway, that was our first action. Next action, we're doing it again. Enraptured, Deduction, Cryptic Writings, 2, 3, 4, 9 to 2 seems good to me. Yep, I'll put another charge here. Take both clues. Oh, I couldn't have committed the second card. Well, it worked out easily for us anyway. Might have committed something over here, like the Crack the Cases, if I had realized that, though. And lacking anything else to do this turn, I'm just going to play the Mr. Rook for 3. But I won't tap him, it can only make things worse. If I get like a Pit Viper and randomly poison myself, I'll be pretty sad. That's it for us. The snakes hunt. Unfortunately, they do not catch. Upkeep phase. And top of the round, 2 of 5 Doom. Let's get out of here with full completion. Creeping Poison does nothing. Ants does nothing. I don't have to think about it. I'll steal the bad tokens, I guess, though. 0, that's still fail by 1. I discard Cream Enhancing Serum. Over here for Mandy. Poisonous Spores. If this is... Let me look at the way this is phrased. If there are 6 pillar tokens, advance that to B. Yes, Amanda doesn't need to come back. I was suddenly very worried I misremembered this and was have to make a series of sick plays to avoid trauma on Amanda, but that's not the case. Poison Spores is in that case a complete blank. I spend a charge, a Pendant of the Queen, and I teleport back to the mouth of Kinyan. How is this supposed to be pronounced? I considered looking it up, but my headphones actually aren't plugged in right now, and I don't feel like finding them. Like, it's just Kinyan, but you cut an E and added in some random syllables. But there's no way that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. And at the same time, knowing Lovecraft and considering where in the world this is, maybe that is exactly how it's supposed to be pronounced. I have no idea. Anyway, I send 2 actions and spend 4 clues. That is correct, is it not? 2 actions, 2 clues each. We add 2 resources. We go up to 6, and we get out of Heart of the Elders Part 1. R1. Theoretically, was there a way to do better and not get the vengeance? Yes, actually. Like, very easily. I could have, on Mandy, teleported up here, taken the damage from this, let Amanda get hit by these. This turn used a double action to get rid of this and got rid of the vengeance. But I'd rather leave. I want to get through with the bad part of Forgotten Age. I don't want to sandbag to reduce by 1 vengeance. That's not fun. Right. This is the one where none of this actually happens. I'm just going to put all of this up here, and we'll count it next scenario, because we don't actually get the Yig's Fury yet, or the victory. We get it next scenario after Heart of the Elders Part 2, and it's straight into that, no additional resolution. We don't upgrade our decks, we don't do anything differently. So that's it for Heart of the Elders Part 1. I actually enjoyed it a lot more with this weird jank team comp, where anyone can evade a little bit because of Promise of Powers and Practice Makes Perfect, and I get to like play this crazy evasion game where I'm teleporting past them with Pendant of the Queen. Like, this feels like a fun puzzle. However, I don't know if you've noticed, but except for the victory enemies, every enemy on the map is a vengeance enemy. It's really unfun with a standard team. The fact you might need to play this 2 or 3 times if you do badly in Boundary Beyond, which is very easily doable, combined with the fact that you're really not supposed to kill these enemies, which, like, to the point that it's so many enemies you aren't supposed to kill, it feels like a gimmick scenario. It's not a fun scenario. Like, it isn't aggressively bad. There are scenarios that are much worse than this. But this is like a really well-hidden gimmick scenario that's not usually this fun. I think this is far and away the most fun I've ever had in Heart of the Elders Part 1. And I think we're done. I'm going to clean this up, get into Heart of the Elders Part 2 right after this. I've been rather incoherent. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.